Yeah.
Hey, Jose, we're ready, man. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Sarpy County Board of Equalization. Today is Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. It's 3 p.m. Copy of the Nebraska Open Meeting Act rules are on the north wall of the boardroom. Anyone who wants to speak either during public comment or on a specific agenda item, we'd ask you to make sure you make that intention known to our clerks. Kendra Kaler sitting right over here to my left. And when you come forward, we'd ask you to kind of limit your comments to 3 to 5 minutes if possible, and state your name and address for the record. In attendance today, we have all 5 commissioners, our Deputy County Administrator, Scott Bovick, and Kendra Kaler is sitting in for the County Clerk, Amber Hoteling. Our county treasurer is here. I see Jeff, and if you would, and please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Don.
Anybody want to address the Board of Equalization up front? Okay, don't see anyone coming. We'll get right into the agenda. On the consent agenda, we have one item, the minutes from our last meeting.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Burmeister. Please vote.
Motion passed.
Okay, on the regular agenda, we have one item. It's the rejection of a motor vehicle exemption application, Form 453. David Smith for 2026, the Jeep Grand Cherokee. David here?
Yes, he is.
Did you want to address the board?
My name is David Smith, S-M-I-T-H. I live at 3736 Lawnwood Drive in Bellevue, Nebraska, 68123. On the 11th of June, I went to register my vehicle, and when I got there, I handed all the paperwork to the attendant, and she asked me why I didn't show up the day before, and I had no idea. I thought I had an appointment or something when she said that. But she said I missed the date by 1 day, and that she would try to send the approval through. She said it's not a problem because she sent several approvals or exemptions through that morning, and it'd only take about 5 or 10 minutes to come back approved because it's only a day late. But I didn't think I was a day late. The paperwork, I guess, on the title says the 11th. I wasn't in the dealership until the 15th, and I purchased the vehicle on the 15th. I had my in-transit tags that said the 14th, so I still knew I had a couple days to go to register it. And all the paperwork that I have says the 15th, except for the title and I guess the tax paperwork that was turned in. So I would ask that, to make an exemption for that. I tried to do my due diligence by getting there in time to pay the taxes. I thought I was paying them on time. Even when I had to pay the whole amount, I paid the whole amount there, just to find out that I had to come see the board to seek an exemption to that policy. So I hope the board hears me and helps me out. But I tried to do everything that I did the right way, and because my paperwork was different than what the title said, I guess, by a couple days, I didn't qualify for the exemption. That when this was initially brought forward and approved, I signed up for it right away in January. When it came out, I made sure my name was on that so I could get the exemption, and that's all I have.
Okay, so you're a disabled veteran?
Yes, I am. I'm a 100% disabled veteran.
Well, thank you for your service. And
You're welcome,
what's
sir.
the dollar amount of this issue?
So the dollar amount that was added to this was $970 because of the day late, and then $1 or $5 sales tax penalty for paying it late.
Okay.
So, which I thought, when I showed up on the 11th, I thought since this was hanging in my window and, you know, the paperwork all said the 15th, I thought I had until the 14th to register it. And I just received the card in the mail the night of the 10th, the postcard from the dealership, and went there the very next morning to pay. So,
Yeah, sometimes on these new vehicle, right?
it is a new vehicle and it had to be shipped in. We ordered it, so it had to be shipped in.
So sometimes it takes a while before you can even register because the title doesn't get there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Jeff, do you want to give us a little bit of a explanation from your end on what happened here?
Afternoon, Commissioners. For what it's worth, I stand here in sympathy with Mr. Smith's position, but in the execution of my duties, I have guidance, statute, and it states 30 days from the date of sale. The date of sale is determined as the date that's listed on the back of the title. Back of the title list 11 May. He came in 31 days after that date.
So if the bill of sale, which is actually the document that governs the purchase, says the 11th, they still won't look at that?
Right. The governing date is the date on the back of the title.
So if he were to go back and get the date on the title corrected to what it should be, which would match the bill of sale, would that be acceptable?
That would make the problem go away.
All right.
Jeff, just my comment as we rolled through a few of these now, I've got probably several comments, but it would be nice, first of all, I'll just go to the state. It'd be nice that if the state puts an actual date on things, a start and a finish date, an exact date, not this and that. Now, I know you're saying it's the date of the bill of sale, correct?
That's guidance from the state.
Okay. So, but now they also need to go after the dealerships, and they need to get this straightened out with the dealerships and hold them accountable, in my opinion. And there needs to be teeth in when they're going to grant these exemptions, that's fine. But when they come up with the legislation, they also need to have the teeth in there to whoever's controlling that paperwork, in this case, the dealership, and why the dates are wrong or different. It's all got to be addressed. Now, one other question for you, for Treasurer, did you contact anybody at the state? I know you're going by statute, but did you contact anybody at the state on this gentleman's behalf and just ask them, hey, this is what we got. Is there any way this can be resolved?
It can be resolved by changing legislation.
I understand that. Did you contact anybody at the state, though, for this particular?
Yes, and I got a reply from Betty Johnson, and I can read it to you. It's a short sentence.
Okay.
For Nebraska motor vehicle registration purposes, the date of sale listed on the assigned title, or MSO, is the sole source for determining the purchase acquisition date. No other dates, possession date, financing date, temp tag date, etc., are relevant in determining the date of purchase.
Okay.
And that's from Betty Johnson, the Administrator, Driver, Vehicle Records Division.
Okay. Perfect. And what was the actual date of sale?
11th.
Yes. The 15th was the date of sale. So did he come in time or not?
I'm bound by the date on the title, which is 11 May. He came in 31 days after.
Okay. See,
This is an unintended consequence of the legislation that
okay.
didn't follow through.
All right, so I'll make another suggestion. You go to NACO and you sit in on the treasurer's stuff at NACO, correct, every year?
Sure.
Okay, so when legislation like this is being addressed, because NACO breaks it all down and they break it into the different departments. So when this legislation is coming up, and if we're reading through it and stuff, that's the time for the input from all the treasurers as well. So I don't know, Again, I'm just trying to think of ways that we can eliminate this stuff. And I get it. It's the legislature comes up with a lot of, it's just frustrating because what they do and what they don't do, and then what they say and don't say, and they want to always be hard and fast on stuff, and they never have any little bit of an exemption because of stuff like this going on. Again, I get tired of a response like that from the state, because it's, okay, I don't want to do anything more than maybe what I have to do. And you know what? We need to address this stuff and get it taken care of.
And it comes out of committee different than what their inputs were, and there's all sorts of factors going into politics like that.
Jeff, I have a quick question for you. As we talk to our state senators about this, do you see something to where there should be an exception process put into place, or just open the window to 45, 60 days? Just make it go. The 30 days, just eliminate the 30 days.
I think I can see where it came from. Let's match it up to the registration guidelines,
Yeah.
which is 30 days, 15 before, and all that. It's a convenient way to make the legislation happen. Makes sense, right? Well, and I'm not going to speak to what happened in committee because I wasn't there, but it got the bill passed.
All right,
That's all I have on that.
thank you.
But
But I'm actively efforting an effort to change it in the next session.
Appreciate that, thank you.
But to be clear, if he goes back down to to your office, he can get this if he has the title correctly. If the title says the same as the bill, or the bill of sale says same, whatever it's going to take, it'll be acceptable,
Yes.
even though it's now past his 30 days either way.
This would be a circumstance out of his control.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Yep, that's good.
Mr. Smith, you hear that?
How would I get the title since it's at the county?
He would have it.
I'll talk to you afterwards.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, what happens in the case where titles doesn't arrive within 30 days?
They come in and make an attempt, we note their presence in the office to pay his taxes on time. And if it's waiting paperwork from the state or from the dealer or whatever the issue is, not in the VA system yet, that takes 48 hours. We make an exception for that because he came in with the intent to pay.
Yeah,
And
and
then we let
so,
that catch up.
so what makes this any different? He had a in-transit sticker that said it expired on the 14th, and
Because
he
it's-
came in on the 13th. No, I hear you.
He came in
Have
on
we
day
had a case,
31.
have we ruled on a case like this before? The board?
Not like this
Yes.
is a new
Now,
wrinkle.
this is different from our other ones we've done, but
Well, then I would also suggest that everyone on your staff, if anyone calls about this and said they don't have their paperwork, I would make sure that everyone on staff says, well, get down here. And at least now we know that you're making an attempt, but you don't have your paperwork, so they don't get dinged. Okay, great.
I think the suggestions are all good ones, and certainly the treasurer's done everything he could here in order to try to help what's a bad situation with inconsistent statutory and administrative guidance. However, I think that the determination of whether the sale date was the date that the state thinks it is, or whether it's a different date, is a legal question that isn't answered today. So I'm actually going to make a motion that we accept the motor vehicle exemption application on the basis that we have legal authority that would favor doing so, even though I know you've been told the opposite, but this man's a veteran, and when we have legal guidance that would allow us to do it, I usually favor that person. So I'm going to make that motion.
Second. I'll second that.
Okay, can you summarize that again for me real quick?
I think based on some guidance we have from asking our county attorney to take a look at the issue, the question of whether or not the sale date is the date that the state told our treasurer, which is the date that's on the title, versus whether the sale date is the date that's on the bill of sale, is a legal question. And the date that's on the bill of sale would have him be within the proper time frame. And because we have a legal argument that it is, I think we should favor our veteran that's before us.
you're thinking like me.
I know, it's really scary.
That's why I wanted you to repeat it. I was like, oh, holy cow. All right, well, good. We have a motion by Commissioner Burmeister and a second by Commissioner Mixon. And I think the motion was to side with the veteran and provide the exemption. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion passed.
Okay. That's great.
Mr. Smith, I hope this works out, but you still have the obstacles of getting through the state, so. You bet, thank you.
Okay, we don't have any need for an executive session, and all agenda items have been addressed as published, so the Board of Equalization is adjourned. And we'll reset here quickly for the Board of Commissioners meeting. Okay, welcome everybody to the Board of Commissioners meeting. Today is Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. It's 3:16 p.m. Copy of Nebraska Open Meeting Act is on the north wall of the boardroom, and all 5 commissioners are present, along with Scott Bobick, our deputy administrator, and Kendra Kaler, representing the clerk's office. Anyone who wants to come forward and address the board, please comply with the same instructions I gave previously, and you're welcome to do so. John, can I say something real quick? Just real quick, back to Gary's comments on the post office. My name is Russ, the lifetime resident of the county. One thing to remember too, I just went through this with a title, and it was a clear title. There was no lien on it. That took me almost the entire time to get it. Think what the mail system is doing. The mail system, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes, the mail system is absolutely horrible. It took me 21 days to get a package that was supposed to be delivered June 1st. You know, I mean, they're terrible. They don't do anything. You know, so I think you got to give some, it's back to common sense, and that's what I read, and everything you said, Gary, and I applaud you for that. It's back to common sense. You know, if it came in the 14th and it was due the 15th, I mean, he's lucky he was able to get up there the next day, so thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, Russ.
Russ.
Okay, commissioners and administrator comments. Gary?
I have none, sorry.
Commissioner Warren?
None, thanks.
No, thank you.
Scott?
Nothing, thanks.
Okay. Well, then we'll get right into the consent agenda. We have 11 items on the consent agenda. Unless any of the commissioners want to see an item moved to the regular agenda for discussion, I'll take a motion to approve as published.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Klug and a second by Commissioner Burmeister. Any further comments? Please vote.
Motion passed.
Okay, moving on to item 6, which is the planning and zoning agenda. We have 5 items on the agenda today for our approval. We'll be handling items 6.1 through 6.4 together. And so I'll plan to read this into the record, and then we'll have one discussion but vote on them separately. Agenda items 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3, and 6.4 that are going to be presented today by our Deputy County Administrator in a single presentation of the board. We'll have just one public meeting for all 4 items, but then after I close that meeting, as I said, we'll vote on each item individually. These items all discuss land generally located southeast of Platteview Road on South 63rd Street for a subdivision to be known as Lot 1 through 31, outlots A through C, Riverview Estate Edition, and the applicant is KSD Partners LLC. And just in general terms, if you're familiar with Camp Maha, it's butts right up to the campground down there by the river. The agenda item 1 is the public hearing. It's Resolution 172, which will amend the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan by changing the future land use map, which from low, medium density residential to residential estates, and by changing the growth management zone, which you'll see these maps of these from urban reserve zone to rural development zone. Agenda item 6.2 is a public hearing for Resolution 173, rezoning from AG Agriculture Farming District to RE Residential Estates 2 District. Item 3 is a public hearing on Resolution 174 for the preliminary plat. And 6.4 is a Resolution 176, the Growth Management Plan Boundary Adjustment Application to the Wastewater Agency. Scott Bovick.
Thank you, Commissioners. As Commissioner Kelly said, this development is on 63rd Street, south of Plaffey Road, approximately a mile. The total property is about 175 acres. The proposed subdivision is a 31-lot subdivision. 26 of those lots are over 5 acres, and then 5 of the lots are over 3 acres, between 3 and 5. The first item on your agenda is the comprehensive plan amendment. If you look at the map that you see on your screen, the total property is blue. Most of that property is highlighted yellow. That is the future land use designation for rural residential estates. The small 13.85 acre area on the north part of that property is zoned low to medium, or is future land use low to medium residential, low to medium density residential. So the request for the comp plan amendment is to change that area right there to the rural development zone, along with the future land use of rural residential estates, which we think is the more appropriate fit for this property. When we do the comprehensive plan amendment, the next thing that you look at is the zoning, and so they've requested rezoning the property from agricultural district to RE2. That's our high or low density rural residential development. It has a minimum lot size of 2 acres. Again, their lots are either over 3 acres or over 5 acres, which suits this area. When you have lots that large, you are entitled to have on-site wastewater septic system and on-site individual water well, and that's what the development's proposing. For the rezone and the comprehensive plan amendment, the Planning Commission did hear this at their recent meeting, and they did recommend 7-0 to approve those 2 items. Moving to the preliminary plat, as you can see the plats here, and we can zoom in if we need to focus on that. Looking at those 31 lots, it does include in the gray dashed area a drainage easement and then 3 outlots, which are intended to help control stormwater, but also serve as the county's required creek setback area. We review the creek setbacks and the stormwater as the county, but we also have the Papio, Missouri Natural Resource District who assists us with that, and they've signed off on those drainage outlots. Looking at this development, there will be 3 access connections to 63rd Street, one there, and one there. And then these 2 lots on the furthest south, I think they're lots 30 and 31, they will be the only lots that will be allowed to have access directly onto 63rd Street. The internal roads will be privately owned and maintained by the development. The developer has indicated they're going to pursue either asphalt or concrete roads in that area, and that would be a cost that would be borne by the development. Then ongoing maintenance would be by the development. In your packet, you do have a request, or in the motion that the Planning Commission forwarded to you, there are requests to waive cul-de-sac length. We've done that before. As long as there's limited number of lots, roads are paved, and and when there's a topography issue for the area. And then finally, the longest cul-de-sac here that goes to the south, it's called Riverview Terrace or Riverview Circle. There is a potential development that could happen on the east side of this property, and when that develops, we'll expect this Riverview Circle to tie into that development to create some secondary access. Let's see. So one of the things that, one of the questions that came up at the Planning Commission meetings from the public was, what about 63rd Street? What about 63rd and Plaffey Road? And so 63rd Street, as the board knows, the county's pursuing an improvement to 63rd Street from Plaffey Road down to essentially lot 31, where we would put an asphalt stabilization surfacing on there to reduce the dust. in that area and have a more paved surface with regard, and we hope to do that within the next year. With 63rd and Platteview, we know there's issues there. Obviously, this will add some traffic to that. We've been working closely with HDR over the years to look at what improvements could happen there to make that intersection safer and expand it because of the additional traffic. And so that's an ongoing engineering project. Let's see. The Planning Commission again did recommend approving this 7-0. When you make your motion and close as part of the resolution, what's in there is a requirement that the approval is subject to comments and attachments in the Planning Department report. There's still a few things the development needs to work out before they come to you for final plat. And then, as you know, when we do a final plat, there's a subdivision agreement that accompanies it, which lays out all those responsibilities that I talked about. And then finally, with this project, the map I'm showing you, the blue is called the Urban Reserve Zone, and that's in the Sarpy County Sewer Agency jurisdiction. The green is outside the sewer agency's jurisdiction, and so as part of this application, the developers are requesting the sewer agency redraw their boundaries on this property to remove it from the low to medium density residential and move it into that rural development zone. So if you look at the difference real quick here, you can see the proposal to the agency. It's approximately 13.5 acres that would be redrawn out of the sewer agency's boundary. That application is actually on the sewer agency's agenda tomorrow for their review. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I know the developer, Ms. Scanlon and Travis Jaycott are here that are on the development team, and then obviously this is a public hearing. So.
Hey, Scott.
Yep.
Is the 13.5 acres that you just talked about, is that subject to this going through? What if the sewer agency says no?
It is subject to going through. If the agency says no, then they would have to comply with the sewer agency's regulations, which would mean they could still qualify for an exception, but they would be able to build quite a few more lots in there, pending sewer being available. And sewer to be available would also require crossing some of these property owners' property here to provide service. So, yeah, and then the character of the area, if you look to the lots to the east and the lots to the west and to the north, they're already larger acreages. So it makes sense for it to be a rural residential estate and be removed out of the agency. And that's what our recommendation will be to the agency. And there's been coordination with the agency on this in advance so that we all understand the details of it.
So
And I would let them speak to, you know, what the economic impact would be or what their development impact would be. If
looks
we,
like it only impacts, is that three lots up there maybe? Two lots? 3 lots?
based on their plat,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it wouldn't impact the overwhelming majority of the addition, right?
What's that?
It wouldn't impact the overwhelming number. There's, how many lots are there? 30?
31.
Yeah, so it would probably only impact 2, maybe 3 at the most, right?
Or you could just, probably those 4 there, the one would start in the green, so it could just be one big one if they wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
I'll let the developers speak to their preference on that. From our
Yeah.
standpoint, when we're looking at these, we thought that the layout, the rural development size of those lots was preferable, and a request to the agency to just move their boundary that follows a property line versus cutting a property in half was a worthwhile request, but I'll let them speak to that.
Well, we'll see how that goes this week, but I mean, no good deed goes unpunished, because as soon as if the sewer agency elects to, change the boundary, then those 2 folks to the right are gonna want their boundary change, and so on and so on and so on.
And that's for sure. And to the east there, we're obviously not taking action on those 2 properties, but they're already built there, and so there's existing residential there. Those lots are defined and probably can't be divided any further. So
Okay. So I had a couple people call me that live on 63rd Street and then there a little bit, everybody's on well down there, right? For the most part.
I would think so.
So, there's a little concern, is there enough water when you bring in 31 more properties? Is there a risk of running the water level down to where wells have to be redug and all that? It incurs a lot of expense. So has that been mitigated at all?
So our requirements are the septic and the wells meet the Nebraska Department of Water, Energy, and Environment's regulations. We don't really evaluate, is there enough water or is it going to impact others? But I would defer that to the development team because I know they've done some exploration down there and can speak more, more to that point or question.
And when the county does the asphalt stabilization of 63rd Street, is it going to ask for contributions from the property owners?
We will ask for contributions from this development. They know that they need to contribute their share towards that road. Existing property owners would not contribute unless they decided to redevelop their property.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we would just ask these guys to contribute, but nobody else who uses the road?
Yes. Our policy is when development comes in, they contribute towards, that public improvement adjacent to their property. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just got to be in first.
If someone else redevelops or wants to subdivide, then we would work with them also on a contribution.
Yeah. And then the roads are going to be paved inside the development?
Yes, that's what they've indicated to
And
us.
they're going to be up to, standard size construction for roads,
I do.
emergency vehicles?
While we don't pay for those roads, the county engineer does review the plans for the roads to make sure that they meet standard and there's sufficient right-of-way and drainage and all those things. And I think the plan that they've proposed does that. And again, in the subdivision agreement, we'll have all that laid out, what the responsibility is, the developer's responsibility to improve those roads.
So will the county, so the subdivision owns these roads, right?
Yep.
So the county won't provide services inside there?
No.
But we're going to ask them to contribute to 63rd Street?
Yep.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a great deal for some. But, okay,
Yeah.
that's all I have there. Anybody else have any questions for Scott? Okay, it's a public hearing. If anybody else would like to come forward and address the board, please come forward.
All right, good afternoon, Board. Mr. Chairman, my name is Travis J. Cott. I'm with the development team. My address is 1413 South Washington Street, Suite 300 in Papillion. We're really excited about this development. Staff has been working hard with the development team to make sure that we have all the drainage and all the engineering worked out so it doesn't affect neighboring properties, as those concerns were brought up before the Planning Commission. As far as the water is concerned, we have been hitting wells there. I think they've confirmed 12 wells that will meet the county requirements. Of course, with the northern area, there may not be as much available water, but that would make the property either marketable or unmarketable, which my guys are willing to take the risk on. 63rd Street, I believe it is already in the plans to be developed, so this fits right into what the Sarpy County was already planning to do. And there was one issue, Chairman Mixon, that you brought up regarding the sewer agency. If the boundary change is denied by the agency, we would likely be having to come back and have a different conversation about what this plat would look like. But we've had conversations with the chairman of that agency, and based upon the location of the boundary, it's not creating a pigeonhole right in the middle of a massive area. So I feel we're pretty confident that they will approve it tomorrow. Other than that, I'm here to answer any questions, if you have any. Mr. Bovic did a great job, even though not being the planning director. So we thank him for that.
That chairman of that sewer agency, he must be an easy mark, huh?
People
That's
with-
me, by the way. So, no, I mean, generally, historically, you're right. I mean, all kidding aside, the sewer agency's been pretty good to encourage development, and especially on developments like this, where they're just on the fringe of the sewer agency jurisdiction. It makes, and there will be no sewer down there in my lifetime, or yours even, as young as you are, most likely. So it makes sense. So we'll see how that rolls. That's Thursday, right? On the wells, you said there was 12.
12 confirmed that we've
So are you planning on a community well kind of thing for the subdivision, or?
no, it'll all be individually served. Each lot will be served by its own well.
Okay. So you're gonna have to find 31 wells then, or?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Anybody else have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, does anybody else want to address the board? Okay, then I'm going to close the public hearing. Well, before I do that, does anybody want to address any of these items, 6.1 through 6.4? Because this is your last chance. Well, come forward if you want to address, and state your name and address for the record.
I don't have the agenda, so I don't know if that's one of these or not. Yeah, I want to testify on Jared Weiss's Buffalo Springs.
No,
That's not this?
That's the next item.
Next item.
Okay, I'll get you the next one.
Yep. Okay, then I'm going to close the public hearing, and we'll pick up voting with item 6.1, which is amending the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan by changing the future land use map.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Mixon. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion passed.
Okay, on 6.2, that's Resolution 173, that's the rezoning from AG to RE2.
Motion to,
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Burmeister, second by Commissioner Klug. Any further discussion on that? Please vote.
Motion passed.
Okay, 6.3, Resolution 174, the preliminary plat.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner Klug. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion passed.
Okay, and 6.4 is 176, approving the growth management plan boundary adjustment.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mixon, second by Commissioner Warren. Any discussion? Please vote.
Motion passed.
Okay, great, thank you. 6.5 is Resolution 175, approving a growth management plan exception request application for a subdivision be known as Buffalo Springs Replat 1, Sarpy County, Nebraska, generally located northeast of 168th Street and Buffalo Road. The applicant's Jared Weiss, Scott.
Yep, thank you, Commissioners. So you'll remember that you have approved a rezone and a preliminary plat for this development. I'll go to that plat real quick here. Oh, it's in the front. Okay, you'll remember seeing this. So Jared Weiss has this large property. Under the county's regulations and the sewer agency's regulations, you can develop 3-acre lots as long as you reserve a large portion of that property for future development. So this plat shows those 16 lots that are developed. They do need to go, Jared does need to go to the sewer agency to ask for an exception. What that exception does is says, they can develop these, they can have an on-site septic system, they have to pay the per lot fee, each lot of $6,000 a piece, and they're allowed to have that sewer, the septic. If you look at this area, and if you know it well, this is a kind of the long-term area where the sewer agency will eventually get. So we wanted to make sure that the county's policies and the sewer agency's policies allow some development out there while still protecting future growth. Let me see here. This item, if you approve it, is also on the sewer agency's agenda tomorrow for their review. If it's approved, then Jared and his team can come back to you with their final plat and subdivision agreement to do the final platting of those 16 lots. Happy to answer any questions you have, and it's not a public hearing, just so you're aware.
Questions for Scott? Did you want to address the board, sir?
Yes, my name is John Mapp, 19010 South 168th Street. I testified at the Planning Commission meetings and with my concerns. And I guess Sarpy County and the other government agencies, including developers, farmers, and public, spent much time developing the comprehensive plan in 2000, about 5 and 6, and 2012, in that time frame. And I attended most of the meetings, if not all of them, and put input into the comprehensive plan. And it cost the county over $1 million to do those plans. We had a professional planner and engineers, and Marty Schukert was the planner, and I don't remember the engineering firm, I'm sorry. But anyway, the goal supposedly was with developing this new comprehensive plan, is so that the current owners and future buyers would know what the properties, what it's zoned for, have an idea of what they can do with their land and what it's good for. And it also that the land was, and this land was zoned ag, and it is zoned ag, and I don't believe 16 houses, and if you look at that plot, the picture they had up there of the property, that section, if you look at that section, probably three quarters of it is farm ground. And this is right in the middle of it. Now, when farmers, you combine, you got dirt, you bale hay, you got noise, people in town, they complain about the noise from the balers, the equipment at night, and where there's no need for a subdivision out in the middle of the farming section. And that if you look at the total picture of the area, the green map with the overlay of the land, most of the area around that is farm ground. And unfortunately, in 2005, when they had the planning commission, or the comprehensive plan development, a subdivision went in on the south side of my section. And I'm far enough away. I'm on the north side of the section. They're on the south side, so I don't know if the county gets complaints from that or not. But I just don't think these housing projects, subdivisions, should be in the middle of agricultural land. And in the planning commission meeting, it seems like all the protection is for the new people. Do they have water? Do they have this road or that road? The sidewalks the right side? What's the protection for the people that have been there? I've been living on my farm is diagonally across in the intersection of 168th and Buffalo Road. This property is on the northeast corner of the road. I'm on the southwest corner of the road. And so I'm right next to it. My house is probably 3/4 of the crow flies, 3/4 of a mile from the subdivision. But I just don't think that it belongs out in the country. And also part of the comprehensive plan was, one of the goals was to ensure that the housing and developments progressed out followed the infrastructure out, so that you don't have to worry about sewer and water and the complications thereof. And like I said, I don't think you really address the concerns of the current owners. And on that section of land, the original house that's there, Doris Royal's house, and the property across the road, and my farm, I also own land on the just straight south of this, probably
Scott,
a quarter
Can you
mile.
put the area map up real quick so we can kind of get a better idea?
Oh, okay.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Better. See,
Yeah,
that's that.
yeah. Well, this is Doris Royal's house. My property is right here. My cousins own this land, and I own this farm. I own this little bar of land. When my folks died, when we settled the estate, I ended up with this little bar of land going along the north of our property, but my cousin owns this property. And there's no house. You notice there's not many houses down here because there's no water. In the 30s and 40s, my dad said there was a house down here at the south end of 156th Street down in this area, but it's not there no more because they didn't have good water. And this property here, right here, their well, I think Dean said is about 10 gallons a minute. It's not a deep well. The neighbors here have poor wells, like maybe 10 to 14 gallons a minute. The people right here on the northwest corner of the section, like this little clump of trees or whatever, bush, weeds, is around a well that's 4 feet in diameter and goes all the way down to bedrock. There, when, I don't know, I wouldn't want that well. And then this house right here, their well, my understanding is 3 feet in diameter and goes all the way down to bedrock. And so, nobody's talking when at the planning commission meeting, they were talking about they have their wells are along the fence line here, and I'm not sure exactly where it is, but the one closest to the road here doesn't look like it's more than 10 feet from the fence. And the other 2 wells are straight further north, going north. I don't know how far they are from the fence, but that puts, there's restrictions when you start putting septic tanks and wells, and you're that close to the fence. Looks like you'd be putting restraints on the future potential of the people on the other side of the fence being able to do something with their property. And and then when at the hearing, planning commission, they keep talking about the one well's 350 gallons per minute. As I told them then, I got a 1,000-gallon tank I use for filling my sprayer. It would take one of these pumps about 3 minutes to empty my tank. But the real kicker is it takes me 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours to refill that tank. So if you're pumping, and when you got a development like this, I think they figure 350 to 500 gallons per minute per household. And that you're talking about 7,000 gallons a day that you're pumping out of there. And when I was in college, they talked about groundwater flowing at inches per month or what have you. And I've never heard anybody say what the capacity of that well is, the drawdown. When your farmer digs an irrigation well, one of the main concerns is how much drawdown there is. Is that well, if you're going to put all the money into the well to irrigate your crops, are you going to be able to pump for more than a day? And I haven't seen any facts in any of the stuff from anybody on the capacity to keep pumping 350 gallons per minute. And then a fire got out of control in about 2018. It started on my cousin's property, come across my land, and went, well, I guess I got the map here. It started over here, and it come across, just missed my home site, come across this property, and got right on the edge of Meadow Oaks down there. And we had there was about 8 fires. A hot, windy day, we had fire departments from Ashland, Weeping Water. I think there's 6 or 7 fire departments there fighting it. Farmers out in the field with disking, and off it they only building I know that burnt down was, it's not on here, it's right down here, just into the edge of Meadow Oaks. They ran out of, fire department thought they had it under control, and they ran out of water. And so they ended up, it was a garage that burnt down. So we were lucky there. But, you know, I haven't seen anything about what these guys are gonna do, how they got fire hydrants in the subdivision? Are they gonna, where are they gonna get the water? And they had a semi, actually for fighting our fire, a semi, it was a government semi. I don't know if it's Offutt, the Guard, or who provided, but there was this, had, you know, U.S. government emblems on it for the fire. And so that's pretty much my well is actually 30 gallons per minute. I'm up here. And when they dug the well, and at that time, they run the pump all night. So it pumped, they hit water at 40 feet, my well's 110 feet deep. And I was only 13, 14 years old, so I don't remember, I wasn't into that stuff. I don't know how exactly what the drawdown was on it. I don't know what it is now. It's a capped well. And they always say that the contour, you can see all the waterways here run down into the development area.
Yeah.
So, in days of old, they used to say groundwater kind of flows with the contour of the
So,
surface
Mr.
water.
Knapp, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but so your big concern is water, right?
Pardon?
The availability of water and
That's
the
one of my
impact
main
on.
concerns, and I think just
And
the
the
fact
impact
that
on existing homeowners,
then
landowners.
the roads and fire protection and complaints from city dwellers and out in the middle of a farm.
Okay, no, I think,
That's good enough.
okay. Can you address some of those issues, Scott? How are those taken into consideration?
You know, with
A lot to
water,
digest there, so just,
what's that?
a lot to digest there, so.
Yeah, no, I think this concern about water, it does come up when we have these areas. You know, from our standpoint, water is, you know, it's a hard thing to kind of figure out. We don't regulate it. We don't look at wells. We don't look at the samples. We don't necessarily look at the engineering. The Nebraska Department of Environmental, Water and Energy are the ones that are responsible for that. You know, we do see what the previous development does, where they go do some exploration to make sure they can provide water. Usually preliminary plat, they've done some exploration. By the time they get the final plat, they need to make sure that they've done a full exploration. So Jared Weiss on this property is in the preliminary, finish the preliminary plat, go on the final plat. I think the other thing with this area, for Jared's development, you know, he's proposing, without getting too deep into it, he's proposing community water systems so that they do have redundancy and each lot can be backfilled. I think there's 3 wells, don't hold me to that. So I think that, you know, they're trying to make that provision for it. What's in front of you today is an exception to the sewer agency. They'll allow a 3-acre lot with an on-site individual septic and still pay the agency fee. And the reason for that is if you look at the sewer agency, and I know that you know kind of their area well, this is like the last phase of the last phase to receive sewer. So the development there will be limited, but there will be able to be some development. If you look at, you know, the plat, that's basically what Jared's able to develop. The remainder, Outlot A, needs to be preserved and held until such time as there's sewer there. So we think that's that balance of allowing someone to do something with the property, rural acreages, but also preserving that green space until, you know, full public services are there.
So,
Is that helpful?
yeah, on these roads, these are gravel or what?
Buffalo Road is paved.
No, I mean,
east-
in the division, subdivision.
I believe I think we're requiring them to pave those roads, those internal roads. 160th Street is not paved.
Okay.
I would have to double check that on those internal roads, but I'm almost certain that we're requiring them to be paved.
So just in order of precedence, so if this hasn't been approved by the sewer agency, the exception, right?
Right.
Then are we putting the horse in front of the cart here?
I agree. And
I mean, why are we deciding this if we may not even have to decide this if the sewer agency, the same with the last subdivision.
Well, so preliminary plat stage, in order for them to go through with this plat, for Jared to proceed with the preliminary plat approval that you've already given him, this has been approved preliminarily, he needs to have that exception approved by the agency.
Okay.
If it is approved, then he can proceed to final platting and subdivision agreement. If it's not approved, then he'll have to kind of go redo it. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hi, Nicole Spitzenberger, Deputy County Attorney. So this is the member agency with zoning jurisdiction has to apply to the agency. So this is just this board approving the application to the agency. So that is all you're approving.
Oh, okay,
So-
I understand.
Yeah.
So, and we're approving it because it's in our jurisdiction.
Correct. This is the entity that has zoning jurisdiction. So the zoning jurisdiction entity has to apply to the agency for the exception on behalf of the landowner applicant.
Okay.
Does anyone, Scott, you made the comment that this would be on the latter stages, the way latter stages of the agency actually getting down there to do anything? I mean, what's a time frame look like on that? I mean,
defer
are
to
we
Commissioner
talking
Kelly on
10? Are we talking 20? I mean,
I think you're talking more than 20.
More
You
than
know, this
20
is,
years.
if you see right to the south of this area, that hatched area, that's our conservation area that we do also protect, and there won't be sewer down there. And so this is really on that southern fringe. If you've heard talk about the Green Line to Gretna, that essentially runs all the way through this waterway up to Gretna. So, and again, and then that's further south of that.
Okay, so then my next question would be, Buffalo Road is paved, but none of the other roads around, they're all gravel. And we're gonna have, is that correct?
Buffalo Road is paved from
Right.
Highway 50 to Highway 31. The north-south roads in that area are not,
Okay, so.
except for Highway 50.
Sometimes I think we are putting the horse or the cart before the horse. I don't think I'm gonna support this. I might have supported it at the first round, but I think we just need to back off maybe and stop some. That's just my opinion, but I don't know. I see what's probably gonna happen, because I've seen it elsewhere, is people that end up in these in some of these developments, then they want more and more. They want well, I don't like all the dust, I don't this and that, but they chose that, but then they want other stuff. And now we're looking at this little piece here that was carved out. So I don't know, I think we need, there's enough going on, and I just think we need to slow it down a little bit.
I mean, that's a good point, Gary, but I think the thing you gotta keep in mind is that when the sewer agency formation was done 8 years ago, they looked at all these areas within the jurisdiction, and they cash flowed it to see, hey, what would it cost to be able to sewer the southern part of Sarpy below the ridgeline. Even if we approve this exception and they go on well, when the sewer gets there, they have to connect.
Right, I get that.
Okay, so, so even though, you know, it feels like we may be speeding out in front here, I think what we're really doing is, when we first envisioned the sewer agency, it was a 50-year project. The problem we're running into, I think, as a county is that people want to live here, which is a great problem to have. But, and so that's kind of accelerated the timeline exponentially. And so the issue is becoming, well, how can we afford to do that and still accommodate this kind of development? You know, water aside, and I'm assuming the water issue is gonna be fine. I have no reason not to think it isn't. But these kind of developments bring property tax dollars back into the county, into the school systems, and you know, and it's economic development, albeit on a small margin, a small number. But I think, you know, generally, the sewer agency has supported these kind of things that are on the outer tier, I would say, of the agency's jurisdiction. Not saying they're gonna do that this week. They, you know, there may be other reasons why they would or wouldn't, but I think from our standpoint, it, provided there, you know, no water issues surface or there's no impact on the neighbors, this is probably a pretty good use of this land that otherwise would not be developed. Because the one thing I think Commissioner Warren coined this, you know, the growth's going to come and there's nothing we can do to stop it. So the best thing we can do is manage that growth in a, kind of with a strategic vision of what the future's going to look like. And to me, this kind of jumpstarts it a little bit because it is going to be developed. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So I don't know if that answers your.
I've gone through the agricultural urban clash 32 years. Finally, when Gretna started to grow, we went to the farming community and said, yeah, we can make a difference. We can zone this, that there are no exceptions to the zoning, and zone it agricultural, and make another cross-hashed area that will never be anything but farm. I said to the farmers, to Mr. Knapp, you go out and get that support, and I think it's something that we could back. Couldn't get the support because everybody's still thinking about mine may be the next place. I mean, it'd be great down here if you'd have a conservation reserve and around that a 2-mile agricultural reserve that will be guaranteed farming until, forever. But that's going to be, that's a pretty big bill to fill. So
It is, but
and these guys are paying, correct? They're paying the sewer fee.
They will have to pay the per lot sewer fee
Right.
if this exception is granted, and then under our regulations, we require, it's called a build-through acreage development where they have to set aside 60% that cannot be developed, and that's outlot A. Some developers go, oh man, we want to do all of it, and we say no. For Jared, our understanding is his intent is to continue to farm this remainder. The lots that are being planted aren't super usable for farming, is our understanding, because of the grade and the topography. So this is what he's brought to you, yeah. And then again, as Commissioner Kelly said, someday when the sewer does get there, those properties will have to tie in and theoretically could subdivide to smaller lots because they're 3 acres if there's public services there. And then one last thing, this development will also have in the subdivision agreement a responsibility to contribute to 168th Street at such time as we improve that.
Yeah, and the other thing I would say is when the sewer agency jurisdiction was formed, one of the conscious decisions was to exclude a pretty wide swath of acreage that's been historically agriculture in the southwestern part of the county. And it's also a lot of conservation land down there, and there's a bunch of actually historical, I don't know what you call it, but we set all that land aside to never be developed, and to preserve our agricultural heritage and our roots that you see on display at the Sarpy County Fair. So anything inside that sewer agency jurisdiction, much to the chagrin of many, some I should say, is going to be developed. So this is just a kind of an incremental step toward that future. So, okay, so anybody else got any questions or concerns?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Klug and a second by Commissioner Burmeister. Any further comments or discussion? Please vote.
Motion passed.
Okay. Well, I think that's it, isn't it? I don't have my agenda in front of me anymore on my
We
screen.
got a lot of stuff to do.
No, 7.1, right?
Can you read it
Yeah,
again?
sure. 7.1 is Resolution 2026-169, award the low bid to Hampton Commercial Construction, Inc. for the courthouse dock remodel project in the amount of $358,000. Beth Garber, Assistant County Administrator.
Thank you, Angie.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. On April 24th, the purchasing department opened 4 bids for this dock remodel project. The low bid is Hampton Commercial Construction for $358,000. The bids ranged as high as $505,000. The project improves the safety, structure, and capacity of the facilities management loading dock, along with providing protection to the sheriff's office vehicles by the sheriff's garage at the courthouse. Construction will include replacing deteriorating retaining walls, rotting wood walls on the building, along with providing a structure at the sheriff's office garage. Construction is expected to begin in July and completed by the end of 2026. So it just included some pictures of what the current existing conditions look like with the deteriorating walls. Our dock, which is undersized for our current capacity. This retaining wall, which is literally falling apart. Bricks are just being set on top of it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Klug, second by Commissioner Burmeister. I just had one question. They wanted to put a canopy over this for pedestrian entry.
So right along the sheriff's office garage, there's the entryway, and there is the tower there. There are a lot of birds along that tower.
So it's not over these doors that are in the
It's
picture?
not over those doors, no.
That's
it is-
going, why would anybody be going in
No.
those doors? Okay,
No.
thank you. Any other questions? Please vote.
Motion passed.
Okay, I think I'm back up here, Angie.
Okay.
Maybe not. Go ahead.
Item number 7.2 is public hearing and resolution 2026-170, sanitary improvement district SID 92, Rock Creek Park improvements in the vicinity of South 156th Street and Giles Road. Russell Barber, Sarpy, civil engineer.
Yeah, so this is park improvements, SID, Rock Creek. What they're going to be doing is removing and replacing rubber surfacing, sidewalk, benches. There's tree removal and shrub removal as well as some of the park structure. Any questions from?
So how much will this increase their current debt?
Their current debt?
Debt, the money they owe.
I'd have to reach out to Eagle Engineering. They weren't able to have a representative here today.
In the future, that'd be interesting to know.
Okay.
Because that's what makes it
I will say that
unannexable.
the project is going to cost $214,000.
Yeah, so it's not significant. Make a motion to approve.
Well, is it a public hearing?
It is.
Okay.
Oh, it is, I'm sorry.
Anybody want to address the board on this one? Okay, go ahead, Commissioner.
I don't want to make
Close
it now.
I'll second Jim's motion.
You got that, Angie?
Yeah, I
And
second it.
David? Dave, who got
I'll
it?
second.
Okay, okay. All right, Angie, you got that, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
So
Motion by
Angie-
Commissioner Burmeister, second by
Oh.
Commissioner.
sorry.
No, you're
I thought he
good.
was asking if I seconded
Commissioner
it.
Klug.
I can't change.
Not again.
Motion by Commissioner Warren, second by Commissioner
you go.
Burmeister. Please vote.
Okay, we're gonna have to just vote, push it through. Motion passed.
Okay, no executive session is required today, and all agenda items have been addressed as published in the Board of Commissioners is adjourned. Thanks for coming.